We're out of time. Let's change tack by talking about the other issue for today's program. The rift between Wike and Governor Fubara has recently sprung up, following both parties' media outbursts, with Mr. Wike accusing Governor Fubara of being deceptive, but Mr. Fubara has warned that it will surprise those who consider him weak. What's your reading of, this recent saber rattling between a godfather and son?
I think arose out of Wike's constant interviews. He will pay for airtime on TV stations, and he will be talking so much about rivers, and he will be taking on the governor. He even attacked some elders that he felt were supporting the governor. I had warned FCT Minister Yeson Wike in the past that the way it was going is going to be the loser in this matter. But he's such a stubborn person. He doesn't want to listen. He does not want to admit that mistakes had been made and that he has to live with the consequences of mistakes that are made. You are the one who brought Fubara. If Fubara turns against you, you've got to find a way to resolve the issue, because a governor has tremendous powers, especially the governor of the second richest state in Nigeria by way of allocation, the distributable revenue from the center. FAC. Rivers is second behind Delta State. Rivers has tremendous resources. The governor has tremendous resources. You can feel bad that you've been betrayed by a governor that you brought from nowhere. A governor who is a political neophyte. Nobody knew him politically. He couldn't have won an election in his ward all by himself. But in our kind of politics, betrayal is a constant thing. There's no big politician who will say he has not been betrayed. We're seeing that even among the present set of governors. We're seeing that governors quarrel with their benefactors. It's not a new thing. Wike is behaving like, he's the first former governor to be betrayed by the governor who supplanted him. That is the mistake that he's making. And he's trashing around, doing interviews all over the place, taking on people that ordinarily he needs their support. That is the way to self-destruct. Taking on elderly people like Odile, it's absolutely unnecessary. You cannot be fighting everybody just because of Fubara. That way, you are getting more and more sympathy for Fubara. You can't fight everybody. You've got to manage the man carefully. As for Fubara saying that he's implementing everything out of respect for the president, that is trash. He's not implementing everything. He cherry-picked portions of that agreement that he wants to implement. For example, he was asked to represent his budget. Has he done that? He has refused to do that. He's shown so much disrespect to the House because he doesn't like the people who are there. Fubara and his supporters think that somehow the seats of the lawmakers in the House will be declared wanted. Will be declared vacant. That is something that I think will happen. What if it doesn't happen? You have to work with this House. Again, Fubara is showing political immaturity. He's got to find a way to manage those guys, get them on his side. I've seen governors who didn't have support of the House because they were the governor came from a minority party. But invariably, he got them on his side. That's something that he has to keep working at. But he's digging in. Those guys too are digging in. That has not helped the situation at all. But in my view, as I've said before, the older person is Nyesom Wike. Nyesom Wike has all it takes to resolve this matter.
That's right.
I do not expect the president to intervene a second time. He's done his bit. And if both of them respect the president, they will work for peace. But abusing people, calling people names, is not a way to solve this problem. It will continue to widen the crisis, because the more you abuse them, the more they get closer to the governor. And ultimately, you will be isolated.
That's right.
No matter how strong Wike thinks he is politically, we have been around for some time. We've seen big politicians fall by the wayside. We've seen big politicians lose power. And he has to be careful.
That's right. That's right, BK.
It was a bad thing for the governor to betray him. The governor betrayed him. It's a bad thing. But it happens. What are you going to do about that? You can't set a state ablaze just because two persons are quarreling. They've got to find a way of development. No one can tell me that this has not hampered development in Rivers State. What are the big things that the governor has done since this crisis began? He has an adversarial House of Assembly to contend with. If that's the situation, you are not going to make progress, because the House is fighting you. The House wants to get you out of the way. They're even threatening you with fresh impeachment moves. Are you going to demolish the place where they are sitting currently, as you did sheepishly the last time? What was the point in demolishing something that cost so much money to build because you thought that could stop an impeachment? They have the power to sit anywhere else. So are you going to demolish everywhere they sit so that you don't get impeached?
Right.
So both men need to use their heads. As I round up on this matter, both men need to use their heads. They must realize that this is a battle that can consume both of them. When you realize that you have nothing to gain from this needless saber rattling and causing trouble, then you will know that you both have to come to the round table and solve this problem.
Yeah.
And this time around, the leaders have to be the leaders in the state and in the South. People like Baba Clark, they should not be seen to support one side. Baba Clark is an old man. He's in his 90s. Let him call a meeting and try to resolve these issues. He should not be seen to be siding the governor, for example. That is not the solution. Elders play the role of elders. They stand in the middle. Bring the two men together. Tell them that if they genuinely love their state, they will put an end to their differences. They will hug one another and solve this problem. I saw them hug one another the other day. But in spite of hugging one another, they are still calling each other names. And again, I say that Wike, being the older person, is the one who should calm down at this point. Calm down and allow peace to reign. And the governor doesn't need to be making all of those statements that he's making. There's no need for it. And every day you are receiving people in solidarity. And once they come, you use the opportunity to talk to the person that you are contending against. There's no need for that. We want peace.
That's right.
Rivers is too important to Nigeria.
That's right.
If there's a conflagration in Rivers, it affects all of us. So we don't want that. We want peace. And the two men must use their heads and stop this needless fight.
That's right. Definitely, you've said it all. Honestly, from the top to bottom, everything that needed to be said, you've just made that point. Marvin Odita says, godfatherism in politics should be stopped. Cletus Oluchukwu from Ogun State says, Nyesom Wike should focus on making things work in Abuja and leave Fubara alone. Fubara is not the first political godson that turned against their godfather. Well done, SARS.
Abio,
Banji
Abio.
Okesato says, Wike is just being human. Nevertheless, he should manage his emotions in life. You lose some and you win some. Nelson Adufe says,
Yeah.
Governor Fubara should concentrate on the state job, should stop listening to distractions like he's doing, making threats of fighting back. All this dragging with Wike will render him useless. And then you said something, BKO, very quickly, just a way of wrapping. If Fubara happens to be an uncreative governor, maybe he has no clue on how governance should work. At the end of the tenure, it's very easy for someone like that to say, because it was being distracted by Nyesom Wike, that is why he's not been able to deliver good governance, to the people of Rivers State. Do you not think that's a possibility? Very quickly, in a minute's time.
But people will know that he caused it. The first thing he did was to try to remove the local government chairman and put in place a caretaker. But these were the people who worked for your victory. I want to believe that his moving against Wike was too quick. He should have been patient. Get everything working in your favor before moving. Because as a politician, you don't have people behind you. Somebody helped you to get there. And what Wike said was, do not bring down the ladder that took you to victory. Those local government chairmen, he was bent on removing them because he felt that by replacing them with caretakers, then it will have destroyed the structures of the party that Wike used to become the strong politician that he is. So once they sensed that that was what he was trying to do, it became a bitter fight between both men. So he shouldn't have made that move at that time because it was too early. If you want to fight a man, why not wait? I saw governors who waited until the end of the first term. Ochendo Global, Theodore Oji, moved against Oji Uzokalu and his mom as he was rounding up his first term. By the end, throughout the second term, he had destroyed them. They couldn't raise their hands against him. They couldn't do anything against him. In fact, when Oji Uzokalu tried to come back to the PDP, Ochendo used his powers as a governor to make sure that he was not registered at his ward.
That's right.
So he didn't move that early. He waited. He waited. Well, this person under 6 months is moved against his boss. I mean, it's too early. It's too early. It shows the height of ingratitude. We may see him as somebody who really talks, who frowns his face and all that. But you don't treat a man like that. And to all of those saying, oh, leave him, let him walk, leave him, let him walk. There's no Nigerian who is betrayed who will be happy to be betrayed. It's a terrible thing to watch someone betray you. But we are saying that even at that, Wike has to calm down, keep his emotions in check, stop all these attacks on political figures. Instead of talking about his achievements during those media chats, he uses those media chats as an opportunity to abuse people. He's expanding the conflict without knowing it. I used to think that as a politician that Wike was very smart, but he does not realize what he's doing to himself. You are expanding the conflict. You are taking away a lot of your own sympathizers by constantly attacking people in the way that you are doing.
That's right.
You are getting more and more people to the side of Fubara. That's what he's doing without knowing it.
That's right. That's right. Your point is made. Nelson Adufe says, BKO and Ibrahim, you are doing a good job. I appeal that this program is extended to 1 full hour than this limited time. This program is educating and all-inclusive. Thanks. We'll consider your appeal. I mean, your pleading.
We'll consider it. Adufe will consider it because normally the power topic ought to have been 1 whole hour.
That's right.
Based on the preparation that I made, a lot of the things that I planned to say I couldn't say because the time was just not enough. So, but that's the way it is. today I plan to do 3 topics, but we have to cut it to 2.
That's right.
You know, we should have discussed some other matters, so that we just left
That's right.
unattended.
That's right. We'll look at it and then we'll just make it, the most we can do is just to make it flexible. And that's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade Otutuju, for those insightful analyses, as always.
Okay, Brian, thank you. Thank you, viewers. I appreciate you.
And thanks to you to our audience for keeping our company in every edition. You can see the program again anytime.